Hi, y'all. Welcome back to my channel, my podcast, The Strength of Her. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for understanding that this is my healing journey as I reflect back and as I get better with this healing. I want to pour my story out to inspire others to begin their healing journey. So, today I wanted to come on and reflect on some parts of my healing journey that I'm proud of myself and that I think that you could take some of these components to better yourself during your healing journey. So, thank you guys in advance for listening. So, I recently was watching Sarah Jakes Roberts' sermon, and it's called Nurturing Your Inner Child. And I thought this is right up the alleyway as I have been exposing my trauma through grief, through my childhood trauma, and how I overcame all those challenges. And I have a few notes here. So, Sarah Jakes had preached on being a sister to your inner child and your future self, and coaching yourself, and being a better sister to Jesus. And so I wanted to come on and reflect on my healing journey because I think it's very important that I realized that I was actually already implementing all those in my life journey so far, and I'm still getting better. I'm not perfect, but I realized that was my I had to be my own sister for my inner child and my future self. So with that being said, is like I told you in previous videos that my sisters did in fact take me in under their wings due to my childhood trauma. I didn't have sisters. Like I didn't have a sister bond. I had a mother daughter bond with my sisters. And I realized at a young age that even though my sisters took me in as they had daughters themselves, I realized that they was young and that they was learning how to be parents as well. So I just knew that the hiccups that we had made sense, but also when you're going through it, you're like, you're the adult. Why did you know this? But then I was a young child, really advanced, that I knew that my sisters didn't have it all, and I'm grateful for them welcoming me and taking me in, and also I'm grateful for that they told me to go to therapy. Um, but I just knew that there were going to be times in which my sister and I wouldn't be able to relate on when it came to my healing process, and that I had to remove myself, from the house, you know, me getting my first apartment with roommates and adventuring out and just really doing the work on myself and knowing that I had to remove myself from certain old habits to really grasp new concepts in my life. But with all this work I've been doing on myself, I've literally been noticing it all came from a place of love. And that is something that Sarah Jakes touched on in her sermon, is that everything that I have in me is love. And that is also God as well, because God is love. And I know I'm a child of God, even though I had some hiccups with God, we had our ups and downs. And that also remind me of the late Maya Angelou with this sermon, because I do feel like I'm really connected to her. I feel like she could have been my grandmother. Um, but there's one video I'm going to quote her um, in this video, in this topic. I will be referring to one of her quotes later on. But I just realized that me being a sister to myself, I had to understand that I yearned to have a sister-sister relationship, but I had to pour that into myself. Same thing with my mother. Yes, I was a mother to a mother and I yearned for a mother's love, but I had to pour that into myself. And that's why I'm grateful for my brother in law teaching me those significant words, in which was Kiki. No one's going to love Kiki the way Kiki loves Kiki. And that lesson taught me, like, I'm my first love. And I want you guys to take that on your journey. Know that you guys are your first love, and that if you want something from others, pour it into yourself. Yes, it's challenging because you yearn to have that and have that outer body. You want that from someone else, you know? But just pour into yourself and you're going to see the power in that. So, there was a few scriptures in which she did in fact spoke on, and that was, let's say, for instance, she's quoted John 13:35. Then she did Luke 6:27 through 28. And then she did another Luke 2:35 and 34. So I will be referring to those scriptures, but I'll list them below, or put them in the video. But I'm gonna refer to my notes to make sure I keep on track. But as I released my story, I knew deep down that God was pouring into me. Even when I went through losses, He was still pouring into me. Even when I went through that traumatic childhood moment, I knew He was pouring into me. And that's how I knew I was really connected with Him, even though I had my ups and downs with the Lord Almighty. But I knew He knew I can carry out this mission, even though there was moments, oh my God, it's a little tough. Come on now. But I knew I was destined to, one, be right here, right now, telling my story, to enlightening you guys on your healing journey. But through it all, I chose love. And I didn't want to have certain components that others, had in them because they was angry and bitter. I didn't want that from myself. And sorry, I'm sitting on the floor, y'all. I gotta stretch my legs. But I knew I wanted to carry out love, and that was my way of getting through situations. And Sarah touches on a scripture that speaks on swords will pierce your heart. And with that, I know when it says swords, give me one moment. No, where's my notes? Sorry. But when she mentioned swords will try to pierce your heart, that literally meant that could be people, that could be situations that you face in life, trials and tribulations. So when I was going through my situations, those was my swords. And before those swords got to me, there's a word that we all know all too well, and that's the word preparation. And that's what I kept rehearing the whole time I was listening to her sermon, is preparation. And also during my talks with my close friend, is preparation is key through life. And I googled the definition of preparation, and it states, y'all give me a minute. It says The actions or process of making ready or being made ready for use or consideration. Another word for to use preparation, it can be putting together. Now, I thought that was pretty interesting because even though I was a young child, I didn't know that I was about to embark on, someone using their so called power to take away my innocence or try to traumatize me, to break me. I didn't know that was about to happen. But God Almighty, He knew that I had the strength to speak out against these people and to know that this is not right and that this is going to stop. And that's what exactly my young self did. And I got out of that situation by voicing my opinion, by going to neighbors. And like I said in the previous video, my sisters came to my rescue. And then there was seasons in which I had to be silent, but that was also me realizing I was suppressing my emotions, but also that was my technique on how to survive in this particular season of my life. And like I referred to my sisters, I'm grateful that they took me in, but I knew that they was young parents and they had to do a lot of learning as they was going. And I know we had our hiccups where we had our verbal fights where we, went back and forth. But there were some things that my sister said to me that scarred me. But then I realized that it's not about me. It's literally them projecting certain things on me that's really about them, but they didn't know how to handle it. So when there would be moments that they say shocking things to me, I literally had to adjust my mind to mentally know that it's not about me. And that was God's way of saying, during this season, it's okay to be silent. This is your moment to realize you know your value, you know your worth. And that's also, I thought that God was speaking through my brother-in-law because he will always say, like, you know your sisters, don't allow them to consume you, control your emotions. And that always came full circle a couple of times. I had to understand that lesson. And I just know that I knew who I was. And I knew I wasn't what they were saying about me. And when my brother-in-law was in my life, he was basically like a coach to me because he coached me during my mother's loss. He coached me how to grieve and, feel whole again. He taught me those moments. And he was actually, with his tools on grief, he prepared me for his passing. And that, yes, it was challenging, it was painful and hurtful that when he left this earth, but I had his tools in which he taught me at a young age about grief. And I didn't let those certain situations consume me because it will have derailed me in it will have derailed my progress. And that's what I kind of got from Sarah Jakes Roberts' sermon yesterday is that I had to be my own sister to my inner child and my future self. I had to coach myself, even though I had, coaches in my life. But I am my truly coach. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I am my coach to myself. And I had to understand how to not let certain things consume me and take my soul or mind. I had to mentally prepare for those moments. And with those swords, I had to understand that yes, I may get bruised, hurt, but I, at the end of it, know how to maneuver. I know how to say, I know my value. I know who I am. I know my intentions. And I'm not going to let you get the best of me, whether it's people or situations. I'm not going to let you get the best of me. And that was my preparation through those certain seasons in my life. And even to the day, there's certain moments that I'm like, I've been through this. I know how to move around certain people. I know how to remove myself. So what is this trying to teach me, during this season, with certain things? And something that I want to read off to make sure I say correctly to y'all. And that is, give me 1 second. Um, I had experienced multiple situations like grief, loss, and trauma, but through it all, I survived because he was behind the scenes all those times. He was restoring what was taken from me. He was building me for another day and many, many more days to come. Every experience I ever went through, God knew I would choose love because I was embodying Him. And even though when I failed at certain situations, I was gaining because I knew I was capable of carrying out this mission and by reassessing myself during certain situations. And by me choosing love throughout all these situations I faced in life and for me coaching my future self, I know I'm capable of being careful to not let certain things consume me to be on the negative spectrum, but be from the positive spectrum. And yes, it's hard when you're in those moments to really think that way, but I feel as though that's what was bettering me and it's going to continue bettering me. So I want to leave off on one of Maya Angelou's quotes or one of her interviews she had, and she said something that struck out to me. And she states, I have in me all the components that are in her or in him. I intend to use my energies constructively as opposed to destructively. If you can do that about the negative, imagine what you can do about the positive. So, with Sarah Jakes Roberts' sermon and Maya Angelou's interview, I knew that I am demonstrating from a place of love and positive. I just know that through all the hurts and trials and tribulations, that I'm leading with love. And that's what I want you guys to, be inspired to do is choose love over being, having hate in you, even when it's tough. And I want you guys to know that in this journey, it's important to change and that the most dangerous thing that you can do is not change. It is key that you evolve. You see the different, levels in which you became the person you are in or becoming. Just know that it's not a easy journey. It's gonna have its ups and downs, but you're worth it, and you have in you components that you can literally lead you to a better person. Um, Sorry, my computer. But I wanted to share that with y'all. And if you guys want to go check out Sarah Jakes Roberts' sermon, it's called Nurturing Your Inner Child. And you guys definitely will see that you guys are either coaching yourself through your journey, that you guys have to pour into yourself to be your own sister or brother to get to the next level. And that if you want to embark on a new journey with your source, my source is God, you can embark on that journey by building a relationship with Him and getting and better understanding with Him. So I wanted to come on here and inspire you to choose love during your journey and know that you will look back and be proud of yourself. And again, thank you for tuning in, you guys, for listening and for healing for yourself. So thank you.